Hello, you're listening to Otaku Spirit Animecast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris, and this is the second parter of our deliberations for the Anime of the Year 2023. We just got through pretty much everything all the way up into romance last week, and now we're going to be jumping into the rest of the stuff, which pretty much starts off with the Isekai. We'll be going through all of the best girl, best boys, the seasonal, and then the Anime of the Year itself. So with that said, let us get right back into it. All right, let us move on to Isekai, the transported to another world. Again, another one that you won't see anywhere else, but there's so many dang Isekai that you can now have a category for it. I think we're both ready. I don't think there's really any kind of notable ones that I did not put in my list. I mean, Campfire Cooking was pretty solid. Reliana, I think, is the only other one but Reliana, I think, just did not end well. And like the whole second half kind of it kind of petered out for me, unfortunately. Tsundere Liselot, I have that as my number 5, so never mind. Spoiler. I always enjoy Kuma Bear Punch, too. Yeah, I got number 5 is Tsundere Liselot, which is Endo and Kobayashi live, which was really a lot of fun. I think it was a very interesting kind of twist on the Isekai genre. It's Isekai in a way. It is technically Isekai, even though it is them kind of talking to the characters in the game. It is technically an Isekai, and I had a lot of fun of it. I think it had a really fantastic ending, surprisingly, which is the reason why I think I enjoyed it the most. Was the ending just nailed it. So number 4, I have Handyman Saito in Another World. Another one that's a very unique take on the Isekai genre, having somebody that is underappreciated in our world, going to another world and being appreciated as a handyman, fixing armor, picking locks, all that kind of stuff. And it had a really fantastic cast of character and a lot of laughs. So number 3, Saving 80,000 Gold in Another World for my retirement. Another one that's a very unique take on the Isekai genre. It does have some repetitiveness in the scenarios, but I just love the main character. She was a lot of fun. And again, it's all about kind of going back and forth and exploiting the systems. So I really enjoy that. Number 2, Magical Revolution. I just absolutely love that show. It's so freaking good. And another one that's kind of like, yeah, technically Isekai. It is an Isekai, but it's not the focal point. And I guess that could be kind of a negative for putting in an Isekai genre. But again, it's another one of those ones where it's not being the usual go to another world and do this thing. It's doing a different twist on it that I think is very unique. So, and then lastly, number 1, as much as I had problems with the production and the directing choices, Mushoku Tensei. It is still by far just unrivaled in the terms of isekais, in my opinion, and I absolutely love it. And yes, you can probably attribute part of that because I know the source material for this section. I don't know the whole source material, and that kind of enhances it a bit. I know a lot of people say that I have problems with Mushoku Tensei because I've read the novel series, but in actuality, I think it's the reverse. It enhances it because I know deeper context that even if they do skip it, it still works for me. So that's my top 5 Isekai anime of 2023. Go, Chris. That's 6. You've been going. Are you gonna try to trick me and saying because you've been doing 4 so many times, you're allowed to do 6 this time?
Yes, that's what I was planning. No, I for my number 5, I've got Heretical Last Boss. I really did like how this one, as far as a take on the villainous, basically. You have your main character who's trying to change her ways. And at the same time, it was constantly trying to tell the story in such a way that you're constantly being shown what it is that she is actually trying to avoid. Is her bad side was actually really, really bad, and she's at least showing you instead of just expecting you to just know. And I think that they balanced that pretty well. So I really did like that. For all of its kind of quirkiness and in the fact that it is kind of a reverse isekai, but it is technically an isekai. I loved Otaku Elf. I really liked its heartfelt moments and all that stuff. But in the traditional sense, it is not an isekai. It is just a technicality. But hey, I wanted to get an excuse to put my Otaku Elf up there. My next one is Saint's magic power is over. Saint's magic is
Magic powers omnipotent season 2.
Yes, there you go. That one. I really love that show. And
omnipotent. I'm sorry, omnipotent. Omnipotent.
Next one I've got is Faraway Paladin. Because I completely forgot about Mishika Tensei, I have to knock it down to number 2. But I did have it at number 1 a second ago, and then Andrew started talking about.
It's your fault, Andrew, because you brought up Mishika.
But yeah, that's my list.
There you go. Mystery Supernatural, which Chris is going to ditch out on me again. This one was actually pretty difficult because I think this is a very heavy mystery type of year, and it kind of, we usually like to do mystery and supernatural together because they sometimes bleed over from each other, and a lot of the shows will have both of them, and in a lot of cases we might not have enough of one to warrant a single category. And I kind of feel bad because this year it feels like the mystery genre definitely did kick out a lot of stuff out, but I still came up with a list. I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to. I guess the only ones that I would probably say that I want to give a shout out to is still going to be Pluto, which, yes, that technically is a mystery show. No supernatural, but it is a mystery series. But I don't feel like the mystery was that good. I think most of the worth of that one is the storytelling around the conflict and the PTSD and all that kind of stuff that kind of takes over. The mystery was never really there. It does have a little bit of a twist towards the later part of it, and there is one aspect of one of the characters that I thought was really, really well taken care of, the main character. But other than that, it just wasn't prominent enough, so that's why it kind of dropped off my list. Maybe Duke of Deathin is made, maybe, but that's more like romance heavy than anything. And yeah, Mononogatari was solid as well. Demon Slayer, Jujutsu they're shonens, and I'm not huge fans of them, so I can't say that they're in my list, but they're obviously very well loved by the entire world. So take that what that is. My list, though. Number 5, Oshinoko. Obviously, the reason why it's 5 is I don't think the mystery is that strong. And why I say that is because what I watch Oshinoko for is not the mystery. It opens up with a question mark. It is what the driving force of the main character is. But it's like it every now and then says, hey, here's the next clue. Okay, do this thing. And then here's the next clue. It's not like it is a focal point. It is the happenings of what he's trying to figure out is impactful for the entire course of the story, but it's not like, oh God, I can't wait to figure out what this is. It is the entertainment industry and stuff like that. So that's why it's 5, but it's still solid. Number 4, Miggy and Dali. That show is absolutely incredible. Is easily one of my favorites of that season. It absolutely blew me away. And yes, the mystery is the center focal point of the entire series. Them trying to figure out who killed their mother. And I will admit that the final punchline wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it was, but the journey itself was incredible. So it doesn't quite ruin it for me. Number 3 I have is in the supernatural realm. So we got one in here that's supernatural, and that is Dark Gathering. Well, there's 2 actually. Dark Gathering is, again, same respect as the whole horror situation. It's dealing with supernatural and all that kind of stuff was absolutely ingrained upon it, and I absolutely loved it. And I love that it's a lot of its stuff is about like real world environments and locations and hotspots for the supernatural, and the way they incorporate all that stuff was really, really great. Like I said, the mechanics of the supernatural and what Yayoi does is incredible. It's very, very clever in the way that was wrote. Number 2, Bungo Stray Dogs. Again, going in the technically supernatural. There is a little mystery in this particular, technically and mostly in the 5th season, but just a really great supernatural battler, not competition, but conflict that's constantly happening, the aspect of each of the individuals with supernatural abilities and how that kind of changes the world itself, and those that kind of keep order. It's really good. So, and my number one, obviously, Heavenly Delusion. Again, going in the realm of, you know, supernatural mystery, all that kind of stuff is really amazing, and I loved it for that. I think the mystery was really what I loved for it, so it easily hits number one for me. Chris, you actually have something for supernatural mystery. And it was one that I forgot to mention. I did kind of bump off, unfortunately.
I put Undead Murder Farce. I really did enjoy that show, and I didn't even think about it when I first glanced at it. But yeah, it is a fantastic show. I really love the characters, and it does mystery okay, and but beautiful shots, great character charisma, great characters in general. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I was going to mention the reason why I didn't put it in my list is because it was just yes, it technically has supernatural in as well, but I think the mystery, which was the selling point for me, they didn't have good punchlines. They were a little bit too obvious with the mystery, and I was a little bit bummed by that. It was carried by the chemistry. The chemistry in that series is super good, and the directing, which again is the director that did Kaguya-sama Love is War, and he's absolutely incredible at directing. So, yeah. We're skipping Magical Boy and Girl this year. We didn't get really any. We had Magical Destroyers and Tokyo Mew Mew. There you go.
Here you go.
We'll do it again next year because we're obviously going to have gushing over Magical Girls, and so we have to have a list.
Yeah,
of
we could pretty much put all the girls in Tokyo Mew Mew in that list. So
Tokyo Mew.
Lettuce.
But no, it's the series, not the characters.
Pudding.
Healing, relaxing, aka Iyashike. I will admit, it's sad that we don't necessarily have like an Iyashike series. I was looking through the whole list, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of like shows that I would classify as the ones that would be healing, like you just relax and watch it, which is typically what we get in these lists. It's shows that we classify as shows that just you turn on and it makes you feel good. You just chill there, you watch it. It's just relaxing. There's no heavy drama beats. There's no crazy explosions and stuff. You just chill and watch it. It heals you from your stressful day. I don't think I really have anything to note really in my list. That's not in my list, but I came down with number 5 as Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent Season 2. There was like a brief moment of like, oh no, what's going to happen to Sei? But overall, I've always found Sei's character and her life in this other world as being very relaxing. She's a very fun character to be around. She's not loud. She's very soft-spoken. There's a flusteredness of romance and stuff in there, but it's typically a show that I really enjoy just to relax in. And that's kind of the whole point of it. When she first got brought there, she got discarded to the side, and she just was trying to find a way of being happy there. And so she found something that was actually pleasing to her. So it kind of works for it. Number 4, I will finally, yes, just like Chris, give credit to Otaku Elf. I'll have Otaku Elf in one of my lists. I just found that show to be a lot of fun. It is kind of one of those ones that's like, you just want to watch the character be a little gremlin and just enjoy her stuff. And yes, I think it kind of loses me a little bit when it gets into the whole nerdy history stuff that she gets into. A lot of references that I don't understand because I'm not like a big history buff in Japan. But it works for the idea of somebody that just wants to chill, and you kind of relate to her and just wanting to relax and make a model or open gachapon delivery boxes and just relax and not have to be bugged by the outside world. Number 3, I have Clueless First Friend. There is like one segment in this series that was pretty heavy. I mean, there's technically 2 points, but one very serious, heavy moment in the series. But other than that, for the most part, the show is just kind of, it is the definition of healing. Like it is, you have a too pure good boy that is just doing right, and it's kind of one of those ones where it's like watching those this saved my view of humanity kind of videos. Like it shows you those good deeds that people do. It's kind of like that. You're watching this boy, and he is just doing the right thing all the time and helping this girl not be bullied. And it's like you're taking a show that could be about this girl being bullied constantly and it be like extremely depressing and not happy, into literally every time somebody speaks up, he's there to fire it down. And it makes you feel good. It's got a nice softness to it as well. And it's just super sweet. Like it is absolute sugar rush watching the show. So number 2 I have is Masterful Cat. Even though the title is Masterful Cat is Depressing in a Day, he's not depressed. He seems like he's super happy. It was a very fun show. I was super surprised how much I loved it, especially since I was afraid from the first episode with Gohan's doing stupid establishment shots like all the time. It actually turned out really good. I really enjoyed it. It was a very feel-good show. I just enjoy the time the characters have together, and just, yes, her being lazy and wanting to consume things and relax and eat food, and the cat just basically feeding into her, giving her what she wants because it makes him feel good. It was super sweet. And then my number 1, easily the show that got me through a couple weeks of roughness. A show that every time I turned it on, it made my day. A show that just I could not get enough of. It brought a smile to my face so easily and so effortlessly. Onimai. I love the show. I just can't get enough of it. It was just too fun and too sweet. I just really enjoy it. Like I said, it was, despite its controversial nature, I actually found it to be very wholesome. So, Chris, Yuriashike healing reaction shows.
I'm going to echo what Andrew said.
Okay, there you go.
It's hard. It's hard to kind of place any Yashike in this year because there wasn't really a lot of them. So a lot of mine, I border on the edge of saying, no, this isn't an Yashike, but I did go for the things that were kind of the most healing out of everything this year. And that would my number 5 would be Too Cute Crisis. A lot of screaming and yelling, so it's hard to say that that's an Iyashike.
It's a loud show.
Then you get into
it's the fluff waffus. It's talking
the
about
fluffies.
The fluff waffus, even though some people like the prickly ones.
Yeah. And I love anytime anybody is just geeking out over animals. I love animals, so having that is just fun. And my number 4 is going to be Saint Cecilia. Cutesy, fun.
I thought about that one.
Yeah.
It is a very fluffy show.
Then I've got for my number 3. Everybody hates me for this, but I still love Grace of the Gods. I think it's a very kind of chill, fun, just goof off type show.
How to defend your front counter by throwing tomatoes at them when you're pulling up shields.
And then, echoing what Andrew said a little bit ago, Onimai is absolutely just a fluffy, sweet show, and I absolutely loved it. And then my number 1 for this year, as far as healing shows, is going to be Yuzuki Family's 4 Sons.
That's a good choice. I kind of want that one too, but there was a few gut punches in it. There was quite a few gut punches in that one, quite a few. But yeah, it is kind of like a self-reflection type of thing, healing in some ways. Another one that kind of was a little bit lacking this year. I was very surprised looking through the year and trying to find cute girls doing cute things. I think I have to admit, I think we can probably call it. I think cute girls doing cute things, I think, is a dying genre. There was not many. There was not many. This year, I listed Stardust Telbath, Bofuri, Kuma 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 Bear Punch, U-149, Too Cute Crisis, and Onimai. What we typically classify cute girls doing cute things is literally just a group of cute girls doing a cute things. Stardust Telepath, out of all of those, is probably the most generic example of that, and in its opening. And even Stardust Telepath turns into more about characters and their struggles and insecurities, and literally half the show is heavy drama that you don't typically get from cute girls doing cute things. So even that one doesn't even fall in the category. So it's very shocking that we didn't have like your usual, is the order a rabbit, or, just your classic cute girls doing cute things. So it might be going away. But I did list Onimai, Too Cute Crisis, E149, Kuma Bear, and Bofuri and Stardust, which if out of those, I would put probably 5. Bofuri second season, even though it's not my favorite series, it is fun in the regards of the cute girls just having fun and destroying monsters with OP abilities. Stardust Telepath, like I said, I'll put it on 4 just because it is very heavy. It was probably, I do like the heaviness. I think it got a bit melodramatic, but I did like the Bochi aspect of it. The girl that's timid and trying to open up more. Kuma Bear Punch as my 3rd, which is my Bofuri. It is my OP girl with the OP armor running out there and doing crazy stuff. I just have a lot of fun of it. It's very fluffy with the bear outfit and everybody loving the bear outfit. U149 is my 2nd. Just a bunch of cute girls doing fun stuff, being idols, each one of them having a moment to shine. Another one that kind of gets a little bit in the heavy department, but I think it kept fluffy most of the time. So, and my number 1 is Onimai. Enough said. I don't have to repeat myself with Onimai. I think I've beat that dead horse. Chris, what was the cutest of the cute girls in your cute days?
I only had a few spots that I could go with, so I went with Stardust Telepath. I didn't finish the show, but I do think it was adorable what I seen, and that was the closest one to a cute girls doing cute things ish.
Yes.
Then I got Bofuri because I just love my tank girl. I'm always gonna love my tank girl. I'm gonna love her forever. Then I've got Kuma Bear Punch. I love those girls. They're absolutely adorable, and they can do all their crazy stuff. And we'll just ignore the fact that one of them is kind of murderous with a knife in her hand. Then we got Onimai because, like Andrew said, repeating ourselves over and over again. It's freaking adorable and absolutely heart touching. So,
animation. This is the one where like I have to fight myself not to pick a list based on like my personal enjoyment, but just going strictly based on the animation itself. And obviously, there's a massive controversy around one of the particular shows that I have in the list. Like I see the shows that had the best animation this year that stood out to me. I might be missing some. Was Jujutsu Kaisen second season, Demon Slayer third season, Zom 100, Heavenly Delusion, My Happy Marriage, Bungo Stray Dogs 4 and 5th season, Magical Revolution. I really love the animation in that one. 100 Girlfriends even was really great animation. More animation than it probably should have had. Pluto, Onimai, Classroom for Heroes. As much as I didn't care for the story and the comedy in that one, it had crazy sakuga. Fate Strange Fake, obviously. Tsunade was incredible. Yuzuki Family's 4 Son and U149. U149 probably the least out of all of them. I think it had a couple of rough points in it, but it had some good, really amazing animation points. I would probably go... I was debating changing something for a moment. I want to do Fate Strange Fake, but it sort of has a problem that I see a lot with certain studios where when they get to the heavy animation points, it kind of changes its definition and its detail, and it makes it look like the characters aren't a part of the world they're supposed to be in. But yes, it has some, like, especially the whole Gilgamesh fight was insane. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do Fate Strange Fake. I might just do... I think I'm going to stick with... I was going to do Pluto, but there's some... I think I'm going to probably do Pluto. There was some points that I did not like the animation, like especially with the tornado and stuff like that. But I think overall they did a really great job. I almost want to put Tsunade in there, but I think a lot of my... Yeah, I'm going to do Tsunade. I'm going to put Tsunade there. I keep thinking about the sound and direction of Tsunade, but the animation as well is also incredible. So I'm going to do Tsunade as 5, Heavenly Delusion as 4, Demon Slayer Season 3 as 3. The controversial pick, Jujutsu Kaisen as number 2. Now, I hate this idea of not acknowledging the accomplishments of a studio despite the choices of the leadership. Whether it is MAPPA is the worst company in the world, the animators are working there. They're choosing to work there, and they're doing their damnedest to get that stuff done in a terrible schedule. And the animators should be praised for that. And as much as I don't care much for the story and the characters of the series, I acknowledge the animation's insane a lot of the time. And then my number one is Onimai. I know it's controversial putting Onimai above Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, but it's a different type of animation. The characters are extremely alive. The reactions made the characters. And that's why it's my number one. So I'll get in trouble for it, but I don't care.
Okay, animation. We have, for me, I've got Onimai as my number 4. I think it looked beautiful.
He's doing the 4 thing again.
Huh?
He does not like doing 5, people. I don't know why he doesn't like doing 5 choices.
I couldn't think of a fit. Make it complicated.
Oshinoko is a good choice. Oh, you have that over there, Art. Oshinoko is another good choice. The dance routines. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Freaking, especially that later segment with the performance on the stage. That was so freaking animation-wise incredible. I kind of want Oshinoko. No, Oshinoko on my list now.
Wait, here. I'll fix it for you. Here you go. Now it's over here on our list.
I was helping you get 5.
Then I've got number 3. I've got Zom 100. I think that some of the action sequences, if you want to call them that, are absolutely phenomenal. Just there's stuff going on all over the place. Then I've got number 2. I've got Demon Slayer. The action set pieces in that was absolutely crazy, especially in the latter parts. I went over a lot of that when we were talking about action.
And see, the thing is, the difference between Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer is obviously for the second season, Jujutsu Kaisen had more action in it, but Demon Slayer is consistent with it. This goes back to my point that I was making about with like how the studios sometimes will change the style, like with Fate Strange Fake. Demon Slayer, they keep it consistent. The characters always look like they fit in that world. The shading and the coloring and everything constantly stays in there. And I give Ufotable massive credit for that.
Yeah. Like
even with Kaisen, it's like some of these fight scenes, it suddenly looks like the characters are completely flat and they're just blobbing around the screen. And I fully acknowledge they're short on time and everything, but this is a project, and as a criticism of the project itself, if they were given plenty of time, they probably could have matched what Demon Slayer does, but they're not. They're just trying to turn it out quickly, and they're forcing these animators to put something together on the fly. And again, hats off to them for pulling that off, but that's where Demon Slayer, I think, stands above the crowd, as Ufotable keeps their style and their visual fidelity the same.
Yeah. And then my number 1 is going to be My Happy Marriage. I think that they had some beautiful pan shots with some. I'm always a sucker for moving hair and stuff like that, and they went nuts on that stuff. And then when Captain Boy Danda-sama went nuts and he was angry, we got some fantastic action moments there. But yeah, the Sakuga in that show, it was just nuts, and I loved it.
Artsy fartsy stuff. Shows that I think had kind of a unique art twist to it, a style that I kind of appreciated. I think the ones that I didn't put in my list that I would like to note is obviously Kaguya-sama Love is War. I think there's a lot to do with the directing. Like, they just choose to keep things constantly shifting and keeping you surprised by what comes up next. It's kind of the same reason why I have Undead Murder Farce in my list currently, is that same artistic choice that they constantly shift things around and really mix things up. What else did I not put in my list? Skipping Loafers, that was kind of a different style in the art itself. It's very soft. I wasn't sure if I'd actually like it, but I actually ended up liking it. Unfortunately, it didn't in my list. I didn't get Oshinoko on my list, which Oshinoko has a more unique character designs and stuff like that. I wouldn't necessarily say there's like too much within it that is unique. But in my list that I actually have for my favorite artistic choices and artsy shows is number 5 is Migi and Dali, which I think is super weird. And it is the credit to the mangaka, and I think the studio pulled off that artistic choice very well in the show itself. It's got a creepy style to it. The aesthetic itself, the way they directed it was fantastic. The characters, how they move, slithering around in their little tent in their bedroom, all that kind of stuff is just, it's super weird, and I loved every minute of it. Number 4, Undead Murder Farce. Again, the director did an amazing job with that show. It had its own unique kind of twist to every single shot that made it kept you engaged while the characters are talking a lot. Number 3, Dark Gathering. As much as the show can't win the animation department, I think it just has a really incredible style to it, and a very unique style to it altogether. And the look of the actual creatures, the spirits and stuff, just looked amazing. Number 2, Zom 100. Just paint splashes everywhere. It just had a very great little style to it that just constantly kept your eyes just glued to the screen, as just, again, not blood, but paint splatters all over the place that just add a little extra flair to it. They just did a really great job with it. And then my number 1, I have Hell's Paradise. As much as I don't care much for the story is okay. Like, it's a lot more engaging than I typically get from a lot of these shonens lately, but it's just the world. It's so fascinating. Like, the moment they hit that island, it's super creative. It just, everything I'm looking at is kind of like the whole Made in Abyss, a Made in Abyss type of situation where everything just looks weird. And now there's a familiarity to it, like the statues and stuff like that, a lot of religious figures and stuff like that. But there's a uniqueness about it that makes it strange, and I want to know more about it. So as much as I can fault a lot of things with Hell's Paradise, that is not one of them. Very interesting art direction. Oh, Chris is going for 3 now. Are you still choosing? I thought we were skipping concept. You did concept. I guess I can.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that we were skipping it, but I seen that you skipped it. I had
you
a
can
couple
do
that
it.
I would love to
No, that's
throw in
fine.
there.
We'll have a category Chris does and I don't.
Concept is one that we
No, you got to do art first.
I've got to do artwork. Okay,
Yeah,
artwork first. Okay, I got 3 on
Everybody's
this
at the edge of their seat.
I'm trying to skip it. No, on art. When it comes to art, I in particular get drawn to character art is one of my biggest things. And I tend to get drawn to characters that are visually striking, something that catches my eye and makes me think about it. And in particular in art, in Zom 100, I think of a couple of characters in there that actually absolutely caught my eye, and I really wanted to know about that story to see how they fit into it and what's going on. And in art, in Zom 100, you also have a lot of though I dread to say it, the zombies are very unique and going all over the place, and they're not just using the same things over and over again, which is what you would normally catch in a lot of things like this. So yeah, Zom 100 absolutely blew me out of the water with all of its art. Into the next one with number 2 is Ocean of Code. A lot of the characters are very visually striking to me, and I absolutely was really I loved a lot of the character art in that one. And then ultimately, my number 1 is Undead Murder Farce. This is one that I had mentioned it. I held off on watching it. Andrew drug me into it, and I'm so glad I did, because a lot of the characters in that show are absolutely beautiful, and I love it, and I couldn't get enough of it.
So what concept choice did you make?
Concepts. This is something that we have brought up before. When it comes to concept, it's what has caught our attention, but not necessarily whether or not they fulfill the what we want. It's just that it has an interesting concept. And I liked a lot of these shows for that. In particular, Raeliana. When it first started, Raeliana started going down a path of, this is a novel, not necessarily a light novel or a visual novel or anything like that.
So it was a mystery novel.
It was a mystery novel that
girl
she read.
returns home because her friend is murdered, and she solves the murder of her friend. Well, the girl is isekai'd as the friend that got murdered.
Yeah.
So she's not the villainess. There is a villainous character in the story, but I love that whole thing with the hairdresser guy messing
Yeah.
with her. Super good. What was his name? Gosh dang, it was like Frank, or it was like a very English name. Anyway, sorry.
In particular, the thing about Ray Liana that really did catch my attention, that I really would love to see a story that's kind of based around the idea of a character who goes into a book, knowing about the book, being able to basically change the narrative of the story. And it felt like that was the direction that they were going. And they may still go in that direction. It felt like she brought it up quite a few times. And that was the original concept that I was really drawn into. Of course, I like the characters, but that was really the concept that I was really interested in. And it seemed like that idea kind of piddled out, and it kind of just went its own way. And so I don't know if it gets picked back up later on, something that they do address later, but it did seem like it kind of left that to the side. Zone 100.
It had a great start. It just kind of petered off at the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Zone 100. Absolutely love the zombie apocalypse type stories. I love the fact that we were getting one. And I do like the fact that it was a character who just wanted to live. And I think that that was a really interesting, and because it's a zombie story, it's kind of natural for us to automatically seem, but didn't just take a zombie story. It took a zombie story from the perspective of somebody who found freedom in something that most people would chop up to kind of a bad outcome to the world. And he's taking that as a break for freedom. Helk. This is an interesting one. Like I had mentioned when I was kind of gushing over it earlier, while it does have problems, it is an interesting concept in the fact of the hero who kind of has to switch sides, because if he's truly a hero, if you want to call him that,
he was never the hero, maybe.
Maybe he was never the hero.
He was never the hero.
But taking that from the perspective of changing the entire thing and flipping it on its head, what if the demons ended up being the guys who are on the underside of an attack from the humans instead?
By the way, that wasn't a spoiler. He's just hero level is what they were saying. Anyway, sorry. I just want to clarify that so nobody thought I was actually spoiling anything. He's literally not. He's a hero level. High level dude.
Level 1 demon. I actually really liked the concept of this show, of the idea of the hero being kind of
the demon lord trying to get the hero back into shape because she's obsessed with him.
And it went in. It didn't lose that flavor, but it did go in different directions than I was intending, or I expected it to go. But the point of this particular category is just concept. And I loved the idea of the Demon Lord trying to get him back into shape and all that stuff. And then Otaku Elf, like I said earlier, I love the fact that we're taking the isekai concept, kind of flipping it on its head, doing a kind of a reverse isekai of bringing the elf to our world, and her ending up being a hikikomori, for lack of a better term. It was just a fantastic idea. Loved using the long life of the elf as a way to bring stories from the past into the present, and kind of trying to dust them off a little bit and try and tell it with her own unique spin on the ideas. So yeah, that's my list of concepts.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons why I didn't want to do a concept list is because a lot of the concepts that I liked didn't turn out well, and they ended up in my disappointed list. So I'm gonna basically be covering a lot of stuff twice. The ones that didn't turn out to be disappointing was probably Tsundere Lee Lot. I like the idea of them being pretty much like let's play commentary that actually affects the actual world itself. It was a nice like third person villainous isekai type of story, which I thought was a lot of fun. Like I said before, Handyman and Saito kind of did well with that whole aspect. My Home Hero was just it was a breath of fresh air. The idea of an anime covering a dad trying to protect his daughter, protect his wife, which is just kind of not really a type of story you get very often. A very adult story that worked out very well. But yeah, everything else is pretty much in the disappointment list. Concepts that I like that just end up in the disappointment list. So we'll talk about it in a minute. Originals. Not that many last year, which is very, very disappointing depending on who you ask, because typically originals is where somebody's trying to do their own thing and not rely on pre-established franchise, which is a risk taking that often, unfortunately, if you look at this list, is probably ended up being things that probably cost them money, except for things like Bang Dream Is My Go. They're not established franchises and probably didn't do too well. At least from I don't remember any of the stuff really being on their own list. Oh yeah, Gundam also is going to be cash cow anyways. But yeah, for originals, my top 5, any that wasn't in my list that I want to point out, like honorable mentions. Kaguya-sama was weird. I don't know if it was good. It's kind of going the cross-range character territory, where I'm not sure. Kaina of the Great Snow Sea, I wanted to like it because Sidonia writer. I really like his works, but that one just didn't really work for me, unfortunately. And the rest is in my list. So my number 5, Magical Destroyer, for top originals. Number 5, Magical Destroyers. I really liked a few of the episodes of that series a lot. I loved how kind of like very, I don't know, middle finger to the society that otaku have. And it was like just going crazy and not holding anything back. I had a lot of fun watching quite a few of the episodes. I will admit that a good chunk of the series, it didn't work for me, but it was still an enjoyable series. Number 4, Revengers, Jinrabuchi's samurai show. It was not amazing, but at the same time, it was an enjoyable watch. I was constantly wondering when Jinrabuchi was going to get dark, and he did get dark every now and then. But for the most part, it was just kind of a very solid samurai show, really is what it is. So, Gundam Witch of Mercury is number 3. Really solid Gundam series. Wasn't my favorite of all time, but definitely a solid series. Bang Dream Is My Go is my number 2. Like I said, a lot of people. I really like the vocalist and her story. The rest of the characters I don't care for. There's a lot of melodrama in that series, but it's still enjoyable. My number 1, Overtake. Obviously, Overtake was absolutely incredible. It's easily the best original of last year. Just a really fantastic racing show with a lot of character. Like, the characters are the central focus of it, and they do a great job telling some great stories, especially the photographer. His story was an absolute gut punch, and they pulled it off so well. So, and the stuff around the racing was really good as well, too. So, there you go. That's my top favorite original series of 2023. Here's where we don't like to do, Chris. It's time. Mm-hmm. It's time to we've been positive this entire time. We went through, 14 categories or something like that? We've done a lot of categories. We're really positive. It's time to be negative, Chris. It's time for the top 5 worst anime of 2023. The fine print goes at the bottom. This does not mean if these shows are your favorite, you are a bad person for liking them. It's just they did not work for us. We usually like doing the disappointment more than the worst, but yeah, the worst for 2023 for me. Oh my gosh, you're not even. I was trying to be nice, and you're taking off the gloves with your picks. My number 5, and I have a reason for this. Kizuna no LLA. I like Kizuna. I really did like Kizuna back in the day. Before they changed people that were Kizuna like 5 times or something at this point. I don't know. Before I got tired of VTubers. But now this show is just so boring and just not going anywhere. It's just literally somebody trying to figure out what works in being a streamer, I guess, question mark. It was super awkward, and then at the half the episode was always these kind of like Q&As where most of the time they were talking about NFTs. So, well, not really, but they were talking about NFTs. So I was like, whatever, this is supposed to sell NFTs, I'm sure. Number 4, Protocol Rain. That show is just a massive. The only thing good about that show is the OP was done by Sawano Hiroyuki. The rest of the show is Garbo. It is a Hello Fellow Kids version of esports anime. It has seemingly no, like, it feels like it was poorly written. I'm not an esports major or anything, but I'm a gamer, and so I know a lot of this stuff, and these people just didn't feel like they knew anything about this. And at the same time, the visual, and this is an original. They should be doing something decent with this show. I think they spent the whole budget on Swana. Visually, it looked like garbage. Like, it could not keep the characters on model. They looked so wonky. And then it's just nothing but melodrama the entire time. This guy that likes to sit buck naked in front of his monitors thinking about the main character and how he's going to turn him into an ultimate gamer by making him discard his entire family is super cringy. And then you had the sister, which the only reason I watched the show was for the sister, because I was wondering how far they're going to go with the sister, because it was obviously going for a very siscon, I wouldn't say fetishizing, but they were definitely trying to tip into that realm of brother, sister, sibling love. And it was super creepy in regards. And it's very difficult for Anne to get super creepy, because I really like Kiss X Sis. So if I like Kiss X Sis and this one was creepy, it tells you it's how it's portrayed really is how it was portrayed very creepy. It was terrible. Anyways, Rent a Girlfriend's third season. I still hate the show. I did like Chizuru's story, but I still hate the show because the main character is annoying, obnoxious. Number 2, Cheat Skill. That show was garbage. The studio, who butchered the adaptation of Soma Spider So What, butchered this one if there was anything there to be butchered. And it was just a very repetitive show with a million hot girls that I don't even know their names because they have nothing going for them besides the fact that they're super hot and they're being saved by him. And then my number 1 is Liar Liar. It was a very... I don't know what that show is supposed to be. I mean, they're supposed to be ecchi in the manga, but the show itself, which I think was based on a light novel, had no visual ecchi. It was just basically half the time was spent explaining games they're going to be playing, and then the other half not playing the game the way that they just explained it. So that tells you how much time it wasted of mine listening to them explain something they don't even do. It was bad. So what's your worst, Chris?
My number 2, because I only have 2. I'm cheating again, so Andrew can mess with me. So I have. Let me check the guide.
Put Ice Blade Sorcerer in there. That was a bad one. Put Ningen Fushin in there or something. Sorry,
I don't think I watched either of those.
Good.
Let me check the walkthrough. I kept wanting to talk about it, and Andrew said I needed to stop talking about that stupid thing, so I stopped talking about it. But at the same time, I stopped watching it too. So I never did finish it.
I don't think I ever told him not to stop talking about it. I think I made fun of him for talking about it all the time. I like when Chris talks on the podcast, so if he can keep bringing that up, sure.
But yeah, I had this weird thing of I just kind of wanted to watch where this wreck went, and it was a mess. I don't even know what they were trying for with that show. I seen the humor, never laughed at it. So I just kept watching it, trying to figure out what the heck was going on with this. What was the story that they were trying to sell here? They made fun of different things like gotcha and all that stuff. They made fun of a lot of different things. But in the end, it looked like crap. And it was painful to watch. And I don't know why I kept watching it, but I kept watching it as if I was trying to figure out this mystery to life. I never solved the mystery, probably because I didn't finish the show. That's probably what it was.
It was on the last episode.
It was on the last episode.
I watched it. It was on the last episode.
Everything.
Yeah.
My other one is Mashal. I know I didn't watch enough of it but I did not like it. It did not work in any way, shape, or form.
And he's a big Harry Potter fan.
I'm a big Harry Potter fan. So it tells you something.
What it is that you're not a big One Punch Man fan. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have both.
There's only one character in One Punch Man that I watch it for, so, and that's the only character that I will
That's
ever
only
watch
showed up for like what, a minute in the
she
entire
only
series?
Yeah, she only showed up for a minute.
Barely a
she
minute.
needs more time, a lot more time. She needs her own show.
Maybe the next season that's going to be apparently done by Mappa and Bones. I don't know. There was some weird thing out there.
Everybody's
somewhere.
trying to check back to figure out who it was that Chris is talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Most disappointing shows. I like doing these ones because it's always about the potential that was there that failed. Like you've seen something, you're like, this could be so good if it actually delivered on this one. So this one's actually a lot more fun to go through. My number 5 I have is
That's just
someone,
wrong.
huh?
It's just wrong.
Why'd you copy Shizuka and disappointing? He said Shizuka's disappointing. He put Shizuka on disappointing.
That's why I said that's so wrong.
So random. I just see Shizuka pop up in disappointing Chris, and he's like, "That's so wrong."
That's so wrong.
And I'm like, "You did it." Anyways, no, my number 5 is second. Summon to Another World for a second time. I thought this was literally one of those ones where, like, I'm like, this could do something interesting from the point of before watching the first episode. So don't get me wrong. By the end of the first episode, I knew this show was going to be garbage. But coming into it, I was like, the idea of somebody going to that same world a second time is actually a very interesting concept. And there was certain hints here and there in the first episode that it could do something interesting because you had a lot of people that were a part of his party before he left that knew him. And so it's like him returning back to that world and everybody going, he's come back. This is the hero that we all knew. Now he looks different because he was reborn back in our world and then he was summoned back again. And so it had potential, but never did anything with it. It just turned into what felt like watching a second season of an Isekai and not knowing what the hell's going on, but he knows everything. For Ningen Fushin, I will admit another one where the concept itself is interesting. The idea of the misfits, the banding together of the rejected of the other parties. It's literally like I was kicked from the hero's party, but then I went and did stuff myself, and I'm super OP. But it's a whole group of them, and they all suck. And the thing that was very interesting is that it opened up with the idea of, okay, let's look at each one of these guys' story. So you had the cleric was, again, the little girl of the village fell in love with him. He said, no, that can't happen. And then she ran off to everybody else and said that he did something to her. He gets thrown in jail. No questions asked, apparently. Then it jumps to, like, the main guy. He's like an all-arounder kind of guy, a fighter. And he gets this girl that he thinks he likes him and starts buying her a bunch of stuff. And then she hoodwinks him. Is it hoodwink the term? She's basically catfishing him, taking money from him and then ditching him. And then you have, like, it keeps going. The one that the wizard that's really talented that everybody thinks she's giving favors to the professor. So the professor loses his job. She gets kicked out, so on and so forth. And they all kind of come together. And then you have the dragon girl. She was pretty much left to hold this boss. And then they all took her stuff and ran off and then took her stuff from back in the town. They're coming together. And there's this kind of idea of like this group coming together and them finding strength in each other. But then it turns into them trusting each other. And then it turns into, well, maybe they're not actually that good together, or they're not good in other parties, so they're not going to be good here together. So there's a lot of things of like how they can come together to form a group that trusts each other. They even get into like how they don't trust each other enough for their money that they make sure that each one of them is checks and balancing on each other. But ultimately just turn into whatever the hell that was. Like, let's spend our money our own way. Dungeon crawling that looks terrible. They kept going to like nearby towns. The style of the world itself kept changing. And they never really explained it. You had like the whole power sword thing they find that turns into a boy. And they use that power to turn into like a fused version of each other. It's just like potential. Whatever that was.
I forgot about which one you were talking about when you had mentioned it earlier. But yeah, if that was that one, that one was garbage. I hated that show. Well, I liked the show in concept, but when it all said and done, it was, especially the sword was kind of the penultimate,
Yeah, and they're looking for a
just
murderer.
throwing it in your face. Like, okay, I guess. And then that's another person for us to not like. I mean, because reasons. It's a bunch of burned heroes that are trying to not burn each other is really what it is. I wanted to like it. I really, really wanted to like it, and it just never worked.
It didn't look good either. Number 3, Fire Hunter. I'm very tempted just to read the novel series. Like, season 2 is out now, and I just don't have a desire to watch it. It's just, the production quality is not there. But I think I don't know that I would like the novel either, just because what I was introduced to was this really interesting concept of a post-apocalyptic world where mankind starts to burn, just spontaneously combust at if any spark is near them, and thus it makes the entire society collapse. They have to rebuild from the ground up to be away from any sort of flame or spark or anything like that. No electricity, obviously. And then basically different groups kind of rebuilding society in their own way. Some becoming like tribes again, and other ones trying to rebuild inside of these industrial areas in their new ways. Everything set up was very interesting, and I think it's a combination of getting too into the boys' side of the story, which felt very kind of boring, that I kind of lost interest. It had a very adventurous feel in the idea of the girls' side of it, and her getting on this massive train that was like out of, I don't know, Cabaneri the Iron Fortress, and traveling through this area, and then the attack of the flaming bears and stuff like that. All that stuff was very interesting, but I think at some point I lost any sort of care for what was going on. And again, a lot of it had to do with the boys' side of the story that over time just lost my interest. So, yeah. Kamikatsu, that show just kind of, it was really very hilarious at the beginning. I really enjoyed it. I love Mitama. I loved getting into the story that as to where he went, which I thought was really, really interesting. And then everything after that I hated. The whole thing with the other house and the I like the concept of the gods, basically, and who they were going to be going up against. And then it got to the whole, like, love hotel place, and the quality of the animation and everything was just horrific. And I think they spent their entire budget on Rie Takahashi, which is great, but that doesn't help the show actually look decent. I hated all the conversation around this show. I think it kind of adds to how much I didn't like it towards the later part, and how everybody was trying to defend it, saying it was intentional, and I got sick of hearing that. It's a new studio, and they just did not make their schedule at all, and they were limping all the way to the finish line towards the later parts. And I just didn't really care much for the later parts of the story. It just didn't work for me. But everything up until the point where they had the big reveal, and they started getting into the idea of having to get like followers and try to defeat the other ones was really interesting. Just everything after that kind of just fell apart. And finally, easily the most disappointing show, and I also want to honorable mention, by the way, before we do my first one, is Helk. But I still like a lot of Helk, and I think it ended really good. But everything at the campfire was not as much of a payoff as I was hoping for, and it dragged. The whole backstory stuff dragged, and it really killed a lot of hype. I loved Helk coming into it. I just loved the chemistry of An and Helk. At the very end of it, you kind of seen An come back, and I was super hyped, but then the show ends. So I would definitely watch another season, but it did lose a lot of hype. But yeah, that said, number 1. Easily the most disappointing show of 2023. 16-bit sensation out of the layer. I had so much hype coming in the show. I was looking at the PVs. The synopsis was like, I want this. It's literally Shirobako visual novel version. This girl goes back in time and creates visual novels. The thing that she wants to do, her current time, she can't, because she's in a deadbeat studio that's making nothing but, snuff stuff. But here she goes. She goes back in time. She's gonna make a Bishoujo visual novel, and then she teleports back, and then she teleports again, and then she sees this the technology change, and she goes to make another one, and then she teleports back, and it never does anything but jump around. I wanted to watch a girl with passion make a visual novel, and what it turned into was watch how the industry slowly changes, and her interference makes it into whatever warp reality it is. It lost the heart of what it kind of opened up with, and turned into some stupid sci-fi thing that gets into crazy aliens and stuff like that, and completely throws it all in the trash. By the third or fourth episode, it never recovered. It just kept going down and down and down to the point where I hated it by the end. I loved how this show opened up, and I loved the passion that was in it, and they squandered it. Now, the only hope I have is the manga. The synopsis seems like it's what I was looking for. So maybe the manga will be better. But this, disappointing. Chris, your time to be negative. Let Andrew take a break from being negative.
It's going to be a short break. Because I cheated again. No, I didn't have. Even the ones that I do have here in the disappointing doesn't mean I hate them. They weren't to the hopes that I wanted. Hero is Dead is one of those that's so weird. I really did enjoy a lot of the show, but it just never felt like it got to an ultimate payoff. It felt like it was trying too hard to be something it's not. It's a comedy, and it needed to just stay light and goofy. It does have its dark humor, and so I do acknowledge that, but it does have this it was more of a edgy humor, and I think that it needed to just stay in that lane. It felt like it was trying too hard to go somewhere it didn't really need to go.
The story kind of made it. The story, the moment it tried to be like have a story, it's like, this is kind of boring. Like, it was turning into an action flick, and it's like, you guys don't have the budget for this.
Yeah,
don't even try. It was better when it was just a comedy. Yeah,
it just didn't work. I have Farming Life. I really did enjoy this show. So
what?
I know, right?
You didn't put in your Isekai, now it's here. This is danger zone. I thought he said he loved this show.
I love this show. I do really love the show. My biggest problem with this is I felt it was very rushed. It feels like it should be a lot more relaxed and taking its time, just enjoying itself and enjoying its time doing things. It feels like they were trying too hard to get through a lot of content. And I am very curious as to see how the original light novel is, because I seriously doubt it burned through that much content that fast. It feels like it just was rushed, extremely rushed. And then my last one is...
Was it a manga? It might be a light novel. I want to say that it's manga, though.
It'll be interesting to say either way. I think that it burned through that content. Yeah. It just felt overly rushed. And it feels like it should be a calm, relaxing, just taking things as it goes type story.
Minecraft in another world, yes.
Yeah. My last one is, my number one is Konosuba, Explosion on This Wonderful World.
That was a massive disappointment.
It was a massive disappointment. I really so
hyped for it.
Like, I was. Whole show with Megaman. It's easily one of my favorite characters in that show, and to have it
Union was great.
Just have it
Union carried.
Have it just miss all of its jokes. I mean, I had to wait until almost the end of the show before jokes started kicking in and actually making me chuckle a little bit. And that's it. I just chuckled a little bit at a joke here and there. It just, nothing was working, and it really, really sucks. I wish it was so much more than that.
That was one of those ones where, like, when I was watching it, I was afraid that when I went to review it, I was like, I feel like I'm going to be like negative on this show, and everybody's going to say, you're crazy, it's Konosuba. And the moment I get out there and I start putting my opinion out there and trying to be honest with people, it's like one of those ones where I don't think I really heard anybody say you're wrong. Like, it just felt like across the board, so many, and I'm sure there's outliers. I'm not saying everybody didn't like it. It just seemed like across the board, so many people were like, I agree. What is this? And most people were saying, and I think you said it as well when we were doing the reviews and stuff, most people were saying, you don't realize how perfect that chemistry was from the original series until you don't have it. The reason why Konosuba works is it's everybody in a group. It's Kazuma? Kazuma, it's Aqua, it's Darkness, it's Megaman, them together. And like I said, the only one that worked, I think, for me in this one was Union. And I think it's because, yeah, Union is part of this offshoot of Megaman's humor from the original series, but she sort of is built to stand on her own because she is a comedy act that comes in. Everybody else, they work great together. So it's a sad thing, but it is what it is. Is that it? Yeah, it's gonna be. Biggest surprise. Let's go back to positive. The rest of this is gonna be positive. Let's get back to positive. Biggest surprises for me. Most of the stuff I pretty much hit on already before. Danger to My Heart. Was not expecting to love this show as much as I have. There was a little. It's number 5 because I kind of had a sense that I might like it based on the artwork and the character design and the PVs. But it was a massive shock for me. Megan and Dolly had no expectations into it. I think we did know that it was based on it was the same mangaka at the time, but I just didn't know if it was going to work because it was so dark and mysterious and not Sakamoto. But it worked. The mangaka nailed it. So rest in peace again. Number 3, Masterful Cat. I was fearful because it was Gohan's, and I just didn't think I would care for it. It was going to be like this fluffy show about this cat making food. I'm not a foodie person. Was going to be, but I loved every minute of it. Besides the first episode. Overtake. 0 expectations coming into it. I was excited for Troika to come back. But I was expecting pretty boys riding race cars, and it punched me like so many times, like had me in tears. I was not expecting that show to be as good as it was. I think it was about the 6th episode point and onward. It just keeps getting better. It's good from the start, but yeah. And then number 1, obviously, Yuzuki Family's 4 Sons. I had absolutely zero expectations for that show. I think even when we were doing the preview, I was like, cool. I mean, it's probably gonna be like Manami K, but all boys instead of all sisters. And I was not expecting for it to just literally rip my heart out, step it on a few times, hug it, give it back to me with it nice and clean. They put it in the washer and dryer. They got it nice and fluffed up for me, and they gave it back to me, and I said thank you, and they put it back in. They sewed me up, and we all gave a hug, and then I just want those boys to be happy. They hurt me, and then they got me crying, and then we all hugged, and we all moved on. Good boys. Chris has 0. Nothing surprised Chris.
Nope.
He's like, I knew everything that was coming. Best girl. He's got best girls, though. Let's move on to the best girl. Here's the most controversial segment of this entire thing is best girls and best boys and cutest characters. I'm not going to go through the list of all the girls that I listed. There's a ton of good girls. If you guys want to know, I made an entire tier list live stream where I went through every single girl and tier listed them, so you can go check that out if you want my thoughts on all of them. For Chris, that's up to him. But my list, after looking through all of it and struggling over, do I pick characters that are great stories, great developments, or just are waifus? I came down with number 5, Karane, best girl of 100 girlfriends who really, really love you. The reason why she's on my list is honestly because she is a archetype of a bygone era. Like, she is a tsundere, and tsunderes are kind of just delegated to villainesses anymore. It feels like they're just not really utilized much, and she was just a very refreshing version of it, just kind of raw as it is, but at the same time trying to make it somewhat justified in the story. And she's just super cute. I love her character.
Just tell the truth, okay? You missed your aggressive beat the crap out of you, tsunderes. Just admit it.
Not really.
You're tsundere to the
Never
tsundere.
cared for it.
I
Never
know
cared for it.
you always said you never cared for it, but obviously you do love them.
Just because she does that doesn't mean it's suddenly a thing that I miss. I don't really have any attachment to that. Number 4, Yamada of Dangers in My Heart. I kind of want to put her higher, but there's a reason for that, and that's just because the following characters are going to be absolutely amazing. Yamada is just a very cute character. She's got so much heart in there. She's got a little bit of a... She has barrier issues. She feels like she can jump in there and just get in there, and then she realizes that she kind of stepped too far, and then she kind of gets all flustered about it. She's just honest with herself, and I really respect that. She's just a very great all-around character. 3, Kana, Oshinoko. Best girl of Oshinoko so far. I'm always open to any of the other characters taking over. If Memcho wants a story arc where she takes over, I'll go with Memcho. But for now, it's Kana. I'll wait for the Ruby moment too. I've heard some people saying there's going to be a Ruby moment. But for now, Kana is the one that's still in the show for me. I absolutely love her character. I think out of all the characters, had the most development of the entire first season. And so I'm sure that's going to probably shift in the coming seasons. But for now, I love her character. She's super sweet. I love her design. I love all those awkward moments from her past that keep cropping up. I love her insecurities, all the difficulties that she's faced and how that affects her now. I just love her character. Number 2, as the famous philosopher Albert Einstein once said, it takes a boy to be best girl. Mahito of Onimai. I just get a kick out of him as her and the cuteness that he is, and I cannot escape the fact that Mahito is a dang cute girl. So I have a lot of fun with him as a girl. It's just a lot of fun in the character himself, the struggles that he has, and yes, technically all the things that he finds about being a girl that he likes. It's that discovery thing that I just get a huge kick out of. And yes, a lot of the art that comes out from Onimai is most of it's Mahito, and it's a lot of good art, like the one that's up on my wall that I think is super cute. So yeah, he's just adorable. So, and my number 1, you can't have a great character like Mahito without best sis Mihari. I think Mihari was a character that I just absolutely adore. She is the sister that is all heart. Loved every scene that she was in. I loved her getting tearful, trying to get her brother back. It's that kind of sibling love that I just adore. The wholesome sibling love where this girl just wants to help her brother that she looked up to so much. Every time she's seen some sort of success or him doing something for her, just completely broke her. And she's super cute and a lot of fun. So easily my number 1 of the entire year. I was gonna put Ellen Lease, but the anime hasn't gotten that far. For all those that watch my tier list, yes, I did technically put Ellen Lease above everybody else, but it's because I've read What's to Come, and I really like her. Chris, who's your favorite girls of the year?
Number 5, I've got Terukomori.
That's a good one. She's
she
super
is
fun.
Absolutely too much fun. And of course, all the girls that come with her, they're in there too. But yeah, Terukomori is awesome. Lum, because I can't get past that verbal tick. I just love it.
I say you nailed it so bad. She nailed it so bad.
I think that world is she's too good for that world. She needs to come over to our world. We'll take very good care of her. Lisa-Lette, absolutely love that show, and I love her. She just absolutely jumped out as probably my favorite tsundere of all time. I did not have as much fun. There's just something about her version of tsundere just it worked for me, and I really did enjoy it. Then I've got Kotoko from Inspector. I love her character art. I've always loved her.
You watched the second season?
I didn't watch it, but I
need character in the list.
Yeah, I needed another character, and I'm gonna put her in. I'll use any excuse to put her in. And then my number 1 is gonna
at least put the Snow Hime in there. She was great, and it was Aoyuki.
Okay, but
Yuki was great.
But I like her,
and she was thirsty. Well, so was Kotoko. Who can out thirst each other, Yuki or Kotoko?
Then my number one is Sarafi from Sacrificial Princess. I absolutely love her character artwork. I love the character growth that she went through the entire show. She was a very strong character, and I absolutely love her.
Best boys, which Chris is again like, I don't care about the boys. I have a best boy list. I have a best boy list. I start off with Yukichi. I think Yukichi from Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today was he's literally what I want out of, yes, technically Way of the House Husband aired last year, the second part or second season, whatever, and I did love that, and I think he again is a fantastic character, but that show is just not really animated, so I give, for that purpose, I will choose Yukichi because he's super fluffy and big and pretty much the house husband. But no, I liked him. He was a fun, fluffy little guy that just brought me joy every week. Number 4, Rudius of Mushoku Tensei. He's just a very, very deep and complex character that I absolutely just think is just incredibly rote. Not the most strongest part of the season for me. Yes, it's technically his own insecurities just completely spiraling out of control to the point where he's physically not working right, and eventually finding somebody that he finds trust in and then moving on from it. But not my favorite part of his story arcs, honestly. That's why he's down in 4. Number 3, Thorfinn of Vinland Saga. An incredibly very complex character, and I think the second season is a sign of that, where you're seeing this significant change in his character and how he views the world and how he wants to live going forward. And I think Vinland Saga second season was pretty much all about that. Number 2, Ishikawa from Danger of My Heart. I think he's a good boy, and I think especially for that first season, and we're getting a little bit more in the second season as well, I think the later parts of the first season is where the nugget is for him as a character, is that insecurities that he has for himself and his difficulties and his fears of being hated and being rejected. And I think that comes in full fold, and I think he's a good boy. And then again, number 1, because I can put him in both lists, Mahito. This is all a big setup for me to be able to put Mahito in both best boy and best girl. Now, granted, I don't know what kind of person he is when he was a boy, but I can still put him over here as a boy. Anyways, that was all a joke. Let's move on. Mahito is my number 1 because I could put him in 2 different lists because it's Mahito. Cutest characters. Chris got a cute character. He said he ran out of time, but he at least filled out the cutest characters. There wasn't very. I didn't get too big of a list when it comes to cutest characters. Who did I not put in my list? I didn't put Risa of Girlfriend. The sister from Girlfriend was super cute and super fun. I think she is great. What else? Mie I didn't put in my list, did I? Yeah, Mie is super cute as well. From Girl I Forgot Her Glasses. I think I had everybody else in my list, right? Anya I think was kind of lacking in the season of Spy Family. But when she was there, she was super cute. My list I have is number 5, Nishimura of Clueless Girlfriend. My clueless first friend. She's not clueless. The boy is. My clueless first friend, Nishimura. Yes, part of it's because it's voiced by the seiyuu that does Roxy. So it's basically like a cute little Roxy that's getting bullied, which broke my heart. But she was super sweet. I felt way bad for her, and I wanted all the best in the world for her. My number 4, Gakuto from Yuzuki's 4 Sons. Gakuto is just super precious. I want that boy to be happy for the rest of his life. I adore him, and I want to protect his smile. 3, Momoka of U149. Momoka was easily my favorite character of U149, and her episode was just absolutely precious. I love seeing her do the skydiving. It was an amazing scene. I've watched that scene so many times of her giving her little speech and then doing the skydiving and that great animation of her down there. And it was a just amazing episode. I absolutely loved it. Shizuka, number 2. of 100 Girlfriends, Shizuka must be protected. She must never be forced to talk. If she wants to keep quiet, that's perfectly fine. I just want her to be happy and protected. And don't let her out of your sight when she's in the water. I'm still mad about that, by the way. Of how much how much he cares about her, knowing she can't swim, lets her out of his sight because he gets distracted by those hussies. She legit said that she can't swim. And my number one, there's no contest here. Number one is an easy. Is by far the cutest, the most must be protected, the most my heart breaks for her. Julie from Mushoku Tensei. Julie must always be smiling. Chris, what did you come up with? B. Yeah, that's right. B was cute.
Yeah, I was gonna put her in here and I forgot. But either way, it is what it is. You caught me do it.
Throw on
I was like putting her in there.
No, put Gakuto in there. You got one more spot. You got one more spot. You can put Gakuto in there.
Oh, the boy. Yeah, he's kind of cute. But I've got for number 4. I've got Julie as from Mushoku Tensei. Number 3, I've got B from Faraway Paladin. She's they're both absolutely adorable. Like Andrew said, Shizuka, absolutely. All these girls are obviously protect them with everything. And my number 1, where I do go in a different direction, is Mia from Tierman Fantasy.
Desuwa.
I love that Desuwa.
Last category we have before we go into the seasonals and the best of is the Besto Couple. This one was pretty easy for me, I think. I mean, there's a couple funnies that I want to throw out there, like Lilia and Lainey from Magical Revolution. I completely shipped that. The Maid and the Vampire Girl, completely shipped that. I think that was more hotter than the main couple. Akane and Yamada, I thought was a really solid couple. Kana and Aqua would definitely ship those two. Yor and Lloyd's always a solid pairing. Sei and Hawk, like I said, is a solid pairing as well. I think the only thing that kind of makes that difficult is that they just didn't do a very good job with Hawk, but that's fine. I'm still happy for them. If Sei's happy, I'm happy for her. What else? Oh yeah, Terakomari and the Sakuna. Yeah, I shipped Terakomari and Sakuna. I know there's probably a maid, the maid girl.
I'll give Terakomari to all 4 of them.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all. I love them each for their own reason.
The one I'm very conflicted is Reliana and Noah. As much as I have my issues with how that series ended, I thought their chemistry was fantastic. I think it was kind of whole thing where, yes, he seems like he's overbearing, but he's not really crossing the line much unless he's kind of teasing her. And she gets so flustered over it. I really like it. So, despite the fact that I think it just never really goes anywhere and the ending sucks, I really did like their chemistry. What else? I joke ship Saito and Laufenpan from Handyman Saito, but we all know that Relza is probably that's where it kind of fits, I guess. That was a bad statement to make. You know what I mean? Fits theoretically.
You did it. I wasn't even thinking about it.
It's the size of Laufenpan. What else? Yeah, the Somniac couples is cute and all that kind of stuff. So my list, though, number 5, Sadafi and Leonhardt, Sacrificial Princess. What time they do get to spend together, they're cute. Often they're kind of separated and she's trying to prove herself to somebody. Number 4, Handyman Saito, Relza and Saito. I think in the end, I really did think they were the cute little couple, and I shipped them, and I wanted them to be happy. Number 3, I have My Home Hero, Kasen and Tetsuo, of course, is the dad and the mom. Mainly because the mom is great. She's such a good mom. She's a mama bear. You mess with my daughter, you're gonna get it. Like, I always like that one moment where she realized that this person is kind of sniffing around too much, and her response is, I think we're gonna have to get rid of them. I'm like, damn, mom. Mom's ready to start to bury the next person. They're messing with her girl. Anyways, number 2, I have Ishikawa and Yamada. I think they're super sweet and danger my heart. I want them to be happy and together. And then my number 1 I have is Anisvia and Euphilia from Magical Revolution. I think they nailed their characters, how they support each other, what they do for each other. All that stuff is fantastic. And in the end, I ship them so bad. So that's my best couples of 2023.
Is Hawk's first name Albert?
Oh yeah, Saku and Yukichi. I said that earlier, but yeah, the Masterful Cat. I think he's a great husband. What?
Is Hawk's first name Albert?
Yeah. I put Say down there, so I figured I'd use his first name too. That's why
I just
Albert.
assumed that was what you meant.
Alberto Hawk-san. She just always says Hawk-san.
Yeah.
Because I think he even refers to her as Say, but I think that's kind of a respect thing. She's kind of stuck in the Japanese way.
Mm-hmm.
Commander Hawks.
Okay, I've got I only did 2. I got Sadafi and
It's getting less every time.
I'm trying to keep up with you, all right? I've got Sadafi and Leonhardt as my number 2 group coupling. They're absolutely just too adorable together. I really did love the amount that they went through together and the growth in their relationship. And then my easy number 1 answer is Sei and Hawk. I think that they are absolutely adorable together, and like I said, got a great payoff. So yeah.
That's it for all the genres and all the extra categories. It is time, Chris. It is time to dive into the seasonal picks before we pick our favorite anime of the year.
Look, I'm just gonna put you on pause.
Spoiler. What?
Because I can't keep up with you.
I'm filling in right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Let me pad, Chris. Let me pad. But no, I admittedly, I have done all of this beforehand. Because yes, for those that are not horrible individuals that don't support Andrew and his ventures into the YouTube atmosphere, unless you're watching this on YouTube and you're already here, then what's up? But everybody that's on the podcast that don't know about our YouTube channel and all the stuff that I do there, every season I am doing a top list for the seasons. So I already have a list and I've already filled them out. And I am not even going to begin to try to force myself to re-examine the list. I technically sort of do, but for the most part, I'm pretty solid in all the ones that I've chosen. There may be an inkling here or there where I'm looking at a list and I go, looking back after 8 months, is this still my favorite? But no, I think at least the top 5s. Like if you ask me if I've changed my mind on the top 10s, I might bend on something, but since Chris always forced us to do 5, I'm pretty unmoving with all my top 5 lists. So yeah. With that said, let's start off things with the winter 2023 anime season top 5 anime. Which yes, I think of all of the seasons, winter was the most difficult, and it was technically the season that had like 66 shows. It was a record-breaking year, or a record-breaking season. It is a record-breaking year, but it was a record-breaking season in the idea that was, I think, the most we've ever seen in a single season was 66 something shows. I think it was 66. It might have been more than that. And yes, it brought a lot of shrug shows, but it brought a lot of really good shows. Like I struggle with making my 10 list then, and in the end, when I had to break it down to 5, I don't think I had too much of a problem, but it was a struggle for me because I was cutting off things like Tsunade. I was cutting off of To Your Eternity second season. I was cutting off Danmachi season 4 part 2. Tsundere Liselot, Sunlise, which is an incredible show. Buddy Daddies. That was a ton of really good shows that season. Campfire Cooking was really solid as well. Handyman Saito. No, I didn't cut off Handyman Saito. Spoiler. Anyways, because I keep kind of mentioning these names, I'll eventually spoil them all. Let's get into my top 5. Starting off with number 5, I have Saving 80,000 Gold in Another World for my retirement. Like I've said before, a really good twist on it. I really like the main character. She's a lot of fun. And it's got a nice little kind of explaining the both sides and that mixture of bouncing back and forth and a lot of fun comedy around that. I still get a kick out of the fact that she panicked and teleported back home to our world on her moped and ended up on her bed with her moped. Number 4, Handyman Saito. Like I mentioned before, I think it's a really hilarious comedy around being isekai, and just it has a lot of fun raunchy humor, a lot of fun fantasy humor, all that kind of stuff all mixed in there. That was really great. Great characters too. Number 3, Bungo Stray Dogs season 4. Absolutely loved getting back into Bungo Stray Dogs. I think it is literally one of the best franchises of all time that I've ever dived into. I cannot wait to read them through the manga again. I haven't read through it. I'm read through the story again through the manga rather than the anime, because I gotta have to do something in order to get my fix, because I think apparently we've caught up with the manga. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's incredible. Their character writing is just unmatchable with how many characters they have. Number 2, Magical Revolution. Really loved it. It was a great little fantasy Yuri / isekai series that I just loved every minute of it. And my number 1, without a doubt, it's easy. Onimai, I'm Not Your Sister. I think it's just, again, by all accounts, a perfect adaptation. It is the example of an adaptation that took the manga, the source material, and took it to a whole nother level. What Bind did with that was incredible. So, and all the animators did an incredible job on it. Except for the only negative I give is that they enhanced certain female characters a bit too much in the chest size. It's like, that's not their chest size. I don't know what they were doing. They're like, hey, let's just make them really huge. They're like 2 characters, and for some reason they decided to go from like this to this. And it's like, okay, somebody's got taste, I guess, in that. Chris.
All right.
Going for 4 again.
I got for my number 4. Well, I looked through that list like 5 times. So unless you're missing something,
You didn't like Magical Revolution? Didn't like Candyman Saito either?
it was okay.
Didn't like Laughing Pond?
I didn't finish Candyman.
Oh.
I got to a good portion, but I didn't get to that. I didn't get far enough to.
You missed Isekai-san's dog.
Why does it say Chris? Don't say Chris. I am not the 5th greatest show of winter.
You didn't watch Isekai-san's dog? You can put that up there. Urusei Yatsura?
Yeah.
Didn't you like Urusei Yatsura?
No, I did technically like Magical Revolution, so it's not.
No.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it. Rebecca, it's not like I'm choosing it because it's good or anything, Rebecca.
No, I definitely am not putting Nigen Fushin up there. So yeah, I that one's fine. So my number 5 is Magical Revolution, as we just added to my list just now as we were speaking.
On the fly. We're doing it live.
On the fly. We're doing it live. And my number 4 is Imminence in the Shadow. I absolutely love the Shadow Garden. Love that group in general.
I love half the show.
Half the show.
Half the show once it's not on the screen. I like Shadow Garden. I like how every time we bring up Imminence in the Shadow this entire podcast, Chris says, I like the Shadow Garden. And I'm just over here staying quiet. Like, I don't want to make him mad and say anything.
Yeah, it is what it is. So we got it. It's on there. It's on my list. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it no more. No,
until he gets to the season where season 2 is at. Is it fall?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do there. I might add it there. We'll see. We'll see what else, whether there's stuff is in there. There's nothing for me to put in the list. It's the problem. So here's my real list. Number 3, I've got Saving 80,000 Gold. I absolutely love that. Like I said before, love her snarky personality, and I thought it was a fantastic show. Number 2, I've got Tsundere Villainous. Like I said, absolutely love Lisa a lot. Love the goofy hijinks of the characters talking about her, and all that stuff. Weird take on the villainous, and I loved it. And then my number 1 is Oshinoko. I'm sorry, that's Andrew's Best of Spring show, not mine.
Spoiler! Wow! So what's your number 1 of winter, Chris? Spoiler.
Why don't you spoil it since I spoiled yours? No. It's Onimai. I absolutely
Because it's not a hard one to pick. What is Chris's number one? I don't know. He hasn't talked about Onimai yet. I wonder what's his number one. Probably Onimai. No, it's definitely not Oshinoko because that wasn't winter.
I'm sorry. I accidentally. You could probably delete this whole section if you wanted for all of it.
No, I don't like editing really long podcasts. I just want to go.
It was an accident, okay?
If you want to go over there and clear your throat and snort, I'm gonna leave it in.
Anyway, my favorite of winter is easily Onimai. It was absolutely a fantastic show. Too cute. Loved it. Loved the acceptance of yourself themes that they add all through it. So yeah, I loved it.
Accepting that you are adorbs.
Mm-hmm.
Spring 2023.
Since I already said
Best of. I think honorable mentions I have in here was obviously Vinland Saga second season. I felt like it shouldn't have been 2 cores. It went through like fall into winter, I believe. No, winter into fall. Or winter and spring. It was too long. They should have shortened it to like maybe 14 episodes or something like that. So it did drag a bit. But it was still a great story. Yamada at level 999, I thought was, at first I wasn't sure if I'd like it, but it actually turned into a really good show. I really love the characters. Insomniacs After School, really loved that one. Thought it was really heartfelt. Really loved the characters. Gundam Witch Mercury wasn't as good as I was hoping it to be, but it's still a solid Gundam. I'm going to say that over and over again. Anything else that I don't have on my list? Yes, I covered that one. Definitely not Yuri Is My Job. I should put that in the disappointing list. Not disappointing list, worst. There was no expectations for Yuri Is My Job. That's pretty much it. Yeah, Idolmaster U149. Yeah, that one's another. Like 4 episodes are really good, but the rest of it I wasn't like super sold on, so I didn't put that in my list. So my top of spring starts off with number 5 as Skip and Loafers. Again, I've mentioned earlier, a really amazing slice of life series with just really great characters. Number 4, Ranking of Kings, Treasure Chest of Courage. Like I said, getting that final conclusion of Oaken's story and going right into like everything beyond the first season that I just eat up. I really enjoyed. 3, Dangers in My Heart. Like I said, it's going down as one of my favorite romance of all time. Number 2, Heavenly Delusions. Again, really incredible little mystery, supernatural, sci-fi type of series that I want more of, and I know that they got pretty close to the source material, so we're not going to get any more anytime soon. But I love it, so. And my number 1. What was it again, Chris?
I don't know. I forgot.
Oshinoko. Like I said before, incredible writer. I just think he just knows the industry way too well. It's scary. It's stuff that I have seen through reading about things. It is just kind of the darker side of the entertainment industry that nobody wants to kind of acknowledge, but he is totally welcome to air out in a way that is extremely entertaining, heart-wrenching at the same time, difficult to swallow at times. And at the same time having characters that are just a lot of fun to see on the screen. So I think it's a fantastic series that I cannot wait for more. So, Chris, what is your hold on a second. Danger in My Heart. Go ahead.
Number 5 I have is Skip and Lover.
You started with number 1 just to spite me. Well, let's start with number 1 then.
My number 5 is Skip and Loafer. I absolutely love that show. It absolutely sweet. Love the discussion of the masks we wear and stuff like that. I thought it was a really fantastic show. Number 4, I've got Otaku Elf. Like I said before, love the twist on the isekai. Love the seeing things through the perspective of an elf in way past and her spin on just different historical events. Really heart touch moments all through the show. My number 3 is My Clueless First Friend. Absolutely adorable puppy love. Number 2 is Kuma 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 Bear Punch. Absolutely love the adorable cute girls doing cute things in a video game. And then my number 1 is As Andrew Spoiled, Dangers in My Heart.
What are you talking about? I was just telling everybody what my third one is again.
Yeah, gotcha.
Summer. Things heat up with summer. Let's see what honorable mentions I have on that one. Unfortunately, Undead Murder Farce. I think the only reason that didn't really get high on my list, as much as I love the beginning segments of it, I did feel like that last arc was not quite what I was hoping for, but it was still a solid series overall. Sacrificial Princess, really great series. Masterful Cat is Depressing in a Day. Really did fight to get up there as well. I just enjoy that series overall. Level 1 Demon Lore was a lot of fun, and I wanted to put that in my list. Bleach obviously wasn't eligible because it's a long-running series. What else was in there? Saint Cecilia was really sweet. I didn't like the later arc of it, but it was a sweet show. Duke of Death I wanted to put in my list, really. Besides a couple of the first episodes of second season, I really did enjoy it. I think everything around Kuf was great. I think that's pretty much it. Everything else is in my list. So this one was, I think, a pretty cut and dry season for me. Like I can tell you my top 5, and I just don't even have a problem with it. Starting off with number 5, I have Bang Dream as my go. Again, it was a series that I did feel was very melodramatic with a lot of the side characters, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the main character, is pretty much the main character, the vocalist. Her story was incredible. I felt for her. I broke for her. I felt like her building up courage. The whole concept of her and the idea that she has trouble speaking, and then she writes it down, and then somebody kind of turned it into music, and then she found the courage to sing that music, basically expressing the words that she could never say herself. It was really fantastic. I really enjoyed it. My number 4, My Happy Marriage. Really beautiful show about a girl kind of put through hard times, finding purpose, not wanting to lose that purpose, and fighting to keep that purpose, while at the same time somebody discovering, what's important to him as well, was really great. And I cannot wait for the second season. Number 3, Fate Strange Fake. Again, like I said before, it's basically Fate Zero vibes. I'm loving it. He's an incredible writer, and that prologue, pretty much, episode 0 basically, is a really fantastic introduction to this new world that I cannot wait to see more of. Number 2, Bungo Stray Dogs Season 5. Always love Bungo. Will never stop loving Bungo. And my number 1 was Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Season 2 Part 1. Again, fantastic isekai series. Christopher, your top 5 of summer 2023.
We're on summer.
Number 5 of summer 2023.
Okay, I've got
number 5.
Reign of the 7 Spellblades.
7 of them.
There's 7 of them. Yes, I have 7 in the 5th slot, and that is the Reign of the 7. No, I absolutely love that show. Really liked the world that they were building there. A lot of very interesting characters, a lot of very interesting mechanics in the world. Yeah, so that I loved it.
Number 4.
Undead Girl Murder Farce.
Am I messing you up by doing the intro?
I'm guessing. I don't know what the heck's going on. Yeah, love it. Love the directing. Love the characters. Love the charisma, artwork, everything. Love it.
Number 3.
Most Heretical Last Boss. Absolutely love the story.
Isn't it Most Heretical Last Boss Queen from Villainous to World Savior or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's number 3.
Most Heretical Last Boss. She's got heretical problems. Am I going number 2? Sorry if that number 2. Number 2. I know you're waiting now. He's like, I like it. Continue.
Sacrificial Princess. Absolutely love it. Love Seraphy. Love Leonhardt. Really thought that they did some fantastic stories as she rised up and through the ranks and changed everybody's mind.
Number 1.
Is it My Happy Marriage? Dang it.
Is it My Happy Marriage? It's My Happy Marriage?
It's My Happy Marriage.
Mine. It should have been me. Is it one of those? It should have been me.
I could change my hair color, dang it.
It should have been me. I should lock her up in my mansion because it should have been me. It's totally a character arc right there. It should have been me. I was raised to do that.
Dude's gonna come back after he's given up on the blondie.
He's totally gonna hook up with the guy. He's gonna hook up with the sister. That's what's gonna happen. That guy's gonna hook up with the sister.
He's already hooked up with the sister. He's gonna get rid of her and then come back for what's her name? I'm getting the names of the characters mixed up. The guy at the beginning who was in love with her. And he ended, and the daddy said,
"No, I'm not talking about this. That sister, a different sister. The sister of the guy that she marries to. The one that was teaching her etiquette and stuff like that.
She was sweet.
She can hook up with the guy that was trying to steal her away to be a part of the family in the mansion.
Gotcha.
I don't know. He's all right. He was all right, dude.
He was all right.
Once he figured things out.
I thought that he would be fitting for the. It should have been me.
Oh, gotcha. Shut up, man, me. Fall 2023 anime season. This one was pretty easy. There's a couple of I had to drop offs that kind of hurt a little bit. Zom 100, I think, was really solid. That one's kind of a hurt. Pluto, I really badly wanted to put on my list, but it couldn't fit. Miggy and Dali was super good, and I wanted to have that in my list. That sucks. Tier Moon Empire, another one that really hurts to not have on my list. I wanted to acknowledge Helk, but again, that whole second half kind of killed it for me, but it's still really, really solid. I mean, I even give credit to Shield Hero 3 for not being that bad as the second season. It was a lot better of a season than the second season, for sure. Vexations, I really wanted to give a list credit to. Fortunately, again, couldn't fit. Is that it? I think so. Yeah, that's it. So, my list, though, my top 5... I almost say top 10. Top 5 anime of fall 2023 anime season. Number 5, Overtake. Overtake, again, really incredible. Massive gut punch multiple times. Fantastic characters. The racing's solid. How they build up the... I think the cool thing is this is kind of one of those sports shows where it does so well with the characters that the story is told through the race itself. Like, you get invested in the rival characters, and so you do have that conflicting feeling when they do go in the race, and their futures are on the line, basically. So it did that very well. Anyways, number 4, Dark Gathering. Gush. It's an amazing horror series. Please go give it a shot. Number 3, Arknights, Perish and Frost. I love the Arknight franchise. I've tried the mobile game, but I can't stick with it. It takes way too much dang time and dedication. It's literally like playing an MMO where you have to focus on it for hours on end. But the story is amazing, and I loved Prelude to Dawn, and I love Perish and Frost, and I cannot wait for the next season. So I don't think they've announced it yet, which I was hoping they would in December. I think somebody leaked that they were going to announce it, but I don't remember if I've seen that was confirmed. But anyways, I want more. And number 2, I have 100 Girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Again, a really refreshing take on the harem franchise, harem genre, and I absolutely loved it. The characters are so freaking fun. Every single one of the girls has their own chemistry that just works so well for it, and I love it a bit. So, and my number 1, without a doubt, my number 1 favorite fall 2023 anime season anime literally is up there as, hold on a second, let me think. Yeah, the number 1 gem of the year of 2023. So it's both the number 1 of fall 2023 and the number 1 gem, the hidden gem of the entire year that is so criminally underwatched on every single aggregation site like Mal and AnyChart. Yuzuki Family's 4 Sons. please, if you've not given it a shot, go give it a shot. Give it at least 3 episodes. That's where you can see pretty much from every perspective of the characters in that show. You get a sense of so many aspects, like how it does comedy, how it does drama, how it does heartbreaking moments. All that stuff is kind of solidified in your views just in 3 episodes. Just give those 3 episodes a shot. It is worth your time, especially if you're somebody that has siblings, because it kind of gets into all that stuff that's very relatable and it's just full of nostalgia. I think it's just incredible writing. It's got great style to it, incredible animation for what it's doing. Like a slice of life with some really good animation beats is very surprising, but it's incredible. I love it to death. Please go watch it. That's my number 1 of fall. Chris, what is your top 5 fall 2023 anime season?
All right, I have got
Number 5.
Zom 100. I absolutely love this show. Really love the concept of it. Really love the characters and just the fun nature of running through the apocalypse.
So you have 2 100s in your list.
Yes, I have 2 100s.
Crazy.
I have 1,000,000 100s.
Zom 100 girlfriends who really, really love you. I never realized that. I don't know why I never connected that there's 2 100s in this season. That's mainly because Zom 100 was delayed for so long.
100 girlfriends who really, really love you.
Number 4.
That's my number 4. Really adorable, really goofy, and lots of fun. Just great show. Number 3, I've got Tear Moon Empire. Absolutely love this show. Desuwa.
I don't know why you never say Desuwa at the end of that. You always have to say Desuwa at the end of Tear Moon Empire.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
do it again.
I'll get a Desuwa in there somewhere.
Start over.
I love the Desuwas.
Start over.
No.
Number 3. Number 3.
Number 2.
Tear Moon Empire Desuwa.
Desuwa. All right. My number 2 is Faraway Paladin.
Desuwa. I'm just gonna do the rest of the podcast is gonna have Desuwas in
it. So anyway, yeah, number 2 is gonna be Faraway Paladin. Absolutely love that show. I just love getting more of it, and I can't wait to get more of after this. I'm actually thinking about kicking Andrew into watching finishing up this season. Number 1 is Yuzuki family and their 4 sons.
You can't get it.
Maybe I do it on purpose. Have you ever thought of that?
Yes. Fooled me. Got me. The Yuzuki family's 4 sons.
It's actually
Yuzuki and his 4
the
sons.
title. Have you ever looked at the title thing when you watch the show? It actually says something about a family's youthful story or something.
Yeah,
like
youthful story of the. Yeah, it's definitely not Yuzuki family's 4 sons.
Anyway, absolutely love that show. I would be echoing a lot of the things that Andrew said. It's a fantastic show. I do agree that people need to go and watch it. It's really worth it.
It's like two years in a row that we had a fall gym show that just oozed wholesomeness. Last year, fall, we had Do It Yourself. And it was like, it just kind of got overshadowed by things like Bocchi the Rock. And this year kind of had the same thing. Yuzuki came out of nowhere, and it was just super wholesome and just really good storytelling. But that leaves us with the final category. We're almost done, Chris. The final category, the top anime of the year 2023, Desuwa. Are you ready, Chris?
No, because I have to make a choice between 2.
Okay, so I have my top 10 list, because when I did a video of it, I did 10. So I will go through my 10. Just know that it's cut off at 5, as much as I hate that, because like right after everything, I don't like any of these on.
If you're gonna cheat and do a top 10, and I'm gonna cheat
it's
and make it a
basically
top,
me saying honorable mentions, but you can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna make a top 6. Since Andrew can cheat, I can cheat. It's my list, damn it.
Didn't we do this last year?
I don't know.
Hold on.
No, you keep trying to get me to go to 10. You keep trying to get me to go to 10.
No, because I literally do YouTube videos and I do 10 there. So of course I'm going to have 10. But I don't know that we cut it off last year. I'm pretty sure Chris
I think we
caved.
ended up
I didn't think you caved.
We need an Otaku Spirit choice.
You caved. Yeah, we did it. I think we did combine them, but we did 10 last year. Look at there. See, you act like this is something new. Because last year, I think I was fighting over like things like Shadow House and Vanitas and call it, man, last year was insane, dude. Get this, Chris. Do It Yourself. Made in Abyss 2. Call the Night. Case Study Vanitas. Shadow House 2. Akibi Sailor Uniform. Summertime Render. Rankin of Kings. Lake of Sequoia. Ascendance of Bookworm. That was last year, and you had pretty much everything. You had Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Bibliophile Princess, Bocchi the Rock, and Dress Up Darling. The rest you have pretty much is in my list. That was an insane year, dude. 2022 was crazy, dude. Anyway, sorry. Side tangent. This year, 2023. So anyway, starting from my number 10, Arc Knights, Perish in Frost. Number 9, 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Number 8, Magical Revolution. Number 7, Yuzuki Family's 4 Sons. Number 6, Bungo Stray Dogs. 4th, 5th season's pretty much the same for me. It's just a split core, basically. Number 5, Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, 2nd season, part 1. Number 4, Dangers in My Heart. Number 3, Heavenly Delusion. Number 2, Oshinoko. And number 1, such an easy guess. Yes, Pole Princess.
It's what?
Pole Princess. You didn't watch Pole Princess?
I thought that was next year. I don't know. I don't know where it is.
He's like, I'm keeping track of that. You lying. I didn't see it come up yet. It didn't pop up for me, so I didn't know you ain't on your list. It's like that. There was one that I really wanted to watch last year that like I could not find it anywhere, and I think it's because like it had some kind of like catastrophe with the funding and the production of it. Was the recent season of Opansu. Is Opansu the Show Me Disgusted Face and Show Me Opansu?
I thought that came out.
There's a new one with the Russian girl, and I have yet to find it anywhere. And I think it's because like they went to go produce it and they didn't release the Blu-rays or something like that. Like I see information about it everywhere, but I've yet to see the actual show. And the Russian girl looks really hot, so I want to watch it. Don't judge me. Anyways, no, it's Onimai. Onimai is my number 1.
Hey,
number 1 anime of 2023 is Onimai.
I went for the Kowtow one.
The what?
The Kowtow.
Oh, the Kowtow one? Yeah. That's all right. I like the Opansu one better.
I even went to the Isekai version.
I mean, it's not like I have a thing for the whole disgusted look thing, but every now and then it's like, I kind of like it.
Hey, if it works for you.
I kind of like, it's more of like, it's a tsundere thing. The disgusted look thing is, it's not that I care much for the disgusted look thing, it's just that it matches the tsundere archetype. Gotcha. It's like they're showing it, but they're like, eh. So it's like, you're just waiting for them to step on you. Not that I'm meant for that whole thing. I actually don't like the whole stepping thing. I don't get the stepping thing. I don't know if it's like an add-on to the foot thing, which I don't get the foot thing. Like, it's like where do we like? It's a foot.
Is this part of the giant thing too?
Apparently. I chose not to cover Chain Soldier this week because I know it's just gonna be nothing but comments about the giant girl, which by the way can be small too. So she's not just a giant girl; she's a tiny girl.
Oh my gosh.
She's a pocket princess. So Chris, what is your top? What 7.5 you have on there?
6
anime of 2023. so we can finally wrap this up, and I can stop sitting for the last, around 4 hours now?
I think we're at 6 hours or so.
You know, it's 6 hours. I'm 4 hours. We took a break for a long time. It is 4 hours right now.
No, that's just recorded time.
True.
Okay. Got number... What did I say? 6. Number 6 is Far Away Pal.
Are we set? Are we tired at this point?
Number 6 is Far Away Paladin.
Desuwa.
Number 5 is Sacrificial Princess.
Desuwa.
Now I want to put it in there just because of this. Where is she?
You don't have Tear Moon in your list. And he wants to put...
Number 7 is Tear Moon Empire.
I like how he acts like it never happened. Number 7 is... What else could I add in here? Meidayo. 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 Oh, did you not watch The Girl Forgot Her Glasses?
I only watched like 3 episodes of that.
Oh, you didn't see the one where he had her glasses at his house and he literally kept...
Yes, I
because
did.
she was behind him. Meidayo.
He was having problems that night.
It's like, dang, I don't think I could ever, like... I remember, like, having cases when I was young.
It was Maydes.
I thought she was saying Dayo. But anyways, I remember times, like, in the past where, like, you had, like, somebody new from school or something like that drop something, you knew it was theirs, and, like, you seen it going home or something like that, so you grabbed it and you were going to take it to the next day. I don't think I ever had a problem where I literally felt like the person was in my room and talking to me because I had their glasses sitting on my counter. I'm like, this boy is just having problems. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's how she looks at him, is through the glasses. So in all actuality, those are her eyes. So she's technically watching him all
There's
night.
a good chance that it might be like some new, like, Mark Zuckerberg super augmentation glasses thing they're doing right now. And they could think there's a camera in them.
Anyway, number 5.
Mashal.
Miss Mashal, obviously.
Pole Princess.
It's Pole
What other bizarre shows that we had last year?
What did we have for bizarre shows?
Besides Isekai-san's dog, that's just too obvious. Anyways, continue. Sorry. Finish this so we can go.
Sacrificial Princess. Then number 4, I've got Dangers in My Heart. Number 3, I've got Onimai. Number 2, I've got Yuzuki Family's 4 Sons. And number 1, I've got My Happy Marriage. Now, how are we going to combine these?
We have to. It was easy last year because we had the same number 1, so we just did that for our top favorite pick, and then we tweeted out or something like that. What did we pick? Was it Bookworm? Did we decide Bookworm? I think because I had Licorice high and you had Rankin of Kings high, but we both had SN as a Bookworms 1 and 2. So I think we just picked Rankin of King, and then the year before then we had Mushoku Tensei season 1. But I mainly did that because I wanted to give acknowledgement where some other company wasn't.
I don't know. It seems like Onimai would be the best choice.
Look like it's going to be picked because you didn't even pick Ocean of Ko for some reason. Damn. Ocean of Ko is nowhere even in his 10 list, and he didn't even pick 10.
Damn. It's not even in my list on that season. Fuck.
Jeez. Do you need to revise your list, or are you just not care that much?
Holy crap. I must have just had the screen down too far. Or I kept seeing Mashal and my brain kept like skirting over it. There's nothing else over there that I missed, right? All right, I gotta adjust my show's spring. Otaku Elf is number 5 now. Clueless First Friend is number 4. Number 3 is Kuma 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 Bear, and number 2 is Ocean of Ko, and Dangers of My Heart is still number 1.
Still no 1.
So that would shift. All right. Don't ask me this in 5 seconds because it's really fighting for the spots between Sacrificial Princess, Ocean of Ko, and Paladin are all fighting neck and neck for that spot. So I've got Tear Moon Empire as my what is that, 8 now?
Yes.
Faraway Paladin is 7. Sacrificial Princess is 6. Oshinoko is number 5. Dangers in My Heart is number 4. Onimai is number 3. Yuzuku Family's 4 Sons is number 2. And My Happy Marriage is number 1. Now, going back to the original question is, how do we balance your number 1 with my number 3, which seems the obvious, is that's what I'm saying, is Onimai is probably number 1. Oshinoko is technically my 5 and your 2.
Yeah, the only ones that are matching right now is Yuzuki, Onimai, Dangers. You don't even have Mashoko. My Oshinoko is higher. So it's like, in weight value, it's like Onimai, Yuzuki, Dangers, Oshinoko. Is Oshinoko? Yeah, because Oshinoko is like 2 and 5. No, it would be Oshinoko before Dangers, huh? Oshinoko, Dangers. And then everything else, I think, is pretty much different for both of our lists. So it would be based on higher value.
Technically, Mashoko would be in there.
Mashoko. And then from then on, it'd be like Heavenly. No, My Happy Marriage is next, because you have it high on your list. And then this is based on weight value on the placement. Heavenly. And then Bungo. It's basically Bungo and Sac Prince. The top 5 is easy. Is Onimai, Yuzuki. Well, sorry, I'm doing a Chris method. By weight value between our 2 lists, the top 5 would be Mashoko Tensei, Dangers of My Heart, Oshinoko, Yuzuki, and then Onimai is number 1. And that's based on placement of like 1. My number 1, number 3 for him is Onimai, and Yuzuki being his 2 and my 7. Then Dangers and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, the easiest one is to really pick the number 1. Granted, I do really like My Happy Marriage, and it's a very good choice for him for his number 1. It's just it fought with 10 contenders that just did not want to let up.
Well,
did not want to let up for me.
When it comes to our particular, I mean, because I acknowledge a lot of what Andrew's got in his list. It's not, I mean, like I said, when we were talking about Mashoko, technically it should be on my list. It's just like, I don't know. It happens. I put, it would probably go in the spot where it would probably go right under.
Our number
My
ones are
Happy
always
Marriage is where
different.
it would go. Yeah.
Our number 1s are always different, I think. Except for maybe 2021, which I think we both had Mashoko. I think our number ones are always different.
If you had asked me yesterday, I would not have figured I would have put Yuzuki as high as I did. I really did enjoy it, but it didn't blow me away. But putting it, when I start actually looking at all the shows in the year in general, it's like, yeah, I don't see why Andrew he wasn't lying when he said it's one of the best of the year. I'm looking at all the shows, and easily it's knocking everybody out. I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, I think 2021 is the only time where we had the same number 1. That was Mashoko. Any other year after that, we're usually like one of us has a 1 and the other one has it a second. Like Sentence of Bookworm season 2. I had number 1, you had number 2. You had Smile on the Runway, which I had that. I think I had that like 10. 2021 we were the same. 2022 I had Sentence of Bookworms season 3 as number 1. You had it number 2. I think that's why it made it number. Rank of King, you had number 1. I had it number 3. So we're usually like pretty. We're not. We have different opinions, but we're kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
We just don't weigh them as much as each other. Like, we agree on how good something is, but just not what is the best. And then that's obviously going to be the personal taste difference there. Shoot, we were way off. We were way off from each other in 2019. I had Babylon, which you unfortunately didn't watch, except for that one scene. The closest we had that was the highest was A Sense of Bookworm, which I was 2 and you were on 3. I can't believe we were that low on A Sense of Bookworm at the time. That first season was not. I think it picked up a lot with season 2. Season 1 is kind of slow, but it's not bad. Because I think I ran into that with a couple people when I was trying to suggest people to pick up on the Sentence Bookworm, and they were checking out the anime, and they were like, it's really slow. And I'm like, you know what? If I think about it, yeah, technically, I think it starts off. I really like the start because obviously I put it as my number 2 of all the entire year. But I do acknowledge that I think it did have like a slow start. Like at some point, it picks up where she starts to not be able to control it, and that's where it really starts to pick up. You get into the church and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a long to do to say. What else are we getting into? We good with Onimai as number 1 of anime of Otaku Spirit? Then
That's fine. I'm good with that.
There you go. I'm glad. I
think
I won this
that our
argument.
list, our combined list, is actually just fine the way it is.
You actually really like our list because I won a lot of it.
If you want to
Anyways.
consider it, you won. I'll go with it.
You're like, I'm the loser, but in the end, we all win because Onimai is.
I might ask for My Happy Marriage to go a little higher, but that's just my opinion.
We usually do that with whenever one is high on somebody else's list. Like if somebody, it's usually like when there's a. You usually give it to me whenever there's a list that we're combining where you didn't watch something.
Yeah.
And you'd usually give it to me. Where do you want it?
At least higher
Right
than
here.
Mishuko. But yeah, dangerous.
Wow. Like, I don't really mind. I just wanted to beat Mashiko. That
My poor Sylvie.
ouch.
I'm even bashing my poor Sylvie.
Yeah, she wasn't even in his best girl list, was she?
Nope, she wasn't.
Wow. Oh, I didn't think about that. I should put Fit Senpai in my best boys. I should.
I totally.
I like Fitz. I really like Fitz. This is one of those interesting things that I don't know if we had mentioned at any point if we did a review or anything, because we're trying not, I mean, though the anime pretty much just throws it out there. One of the things that we talked about for quite a bit was when I was going through the novel series and we got to that whole segment of Fitz kind of being revealed in the anime. For those who don't know, in the anime of Mushoku Tensei, they reveal it right off the bat. This is Fitz. This is who Fitz is. In the novel series, it's kept a secret, so you just assume that Fitz is a different person. And I was telling some people as it was going along, I kept theorizing that it was not Fitz, it was Sylphie. And the twist came, or when it started to build up to that point where it was going to reveal it, I kind of wanted them to be separate because I really liked Fitz as its own character, and I did not want it to be. I kind of didn't want it to be the same as Sylphie. I kind of wanted them to be separate, and yeah, it so happens it doesn't go that way. the writing is not what I want it to be, which is fine. So. It was just an interesting way of being able to split the two. Anyways, that was a weird way of ending our deliberations for an entire year of anime. Is talking about Fitz Senpai. What does Master Fitz think? I enjoyed those segments. But yeah, that's our top picks for the entirety year of anime of 2023. I've always prided ourselves on being the most thorough examination of the entirety of the year, featuring way too many anime. Like, what do we have on the short list here? I don't know. I know this is not all the anime here, but what is the short list here? This is 150 right here, and these are kind of the picks that I would kind of look into, but it's probably relatively more than that. I'm gonna assume probably upwards of 200 plus shows of the entire year that we have combed to find the best of the best. So as much as people will not like our taste and feel that, you know, their shows are better, which is perfectly fine. We all have our tastes and our enjoyments in anime. That's what makes this so great. There's not everything's going to work for me. And that's why I do appreciate when we have too many shows, is that allows everybody to get something they'll enjoy. So even if you don't like a sports show, somebody else is going to want a sports show, and they get that sports show. If you don't like harem shows, you don't have to watch the harem show. Somebody else is going to get their harem show. That's what I've always enjoyed about the plethora of anime out there. But I think the thing that we kind of try to bring into it is, even if you don't agree, at least you might find something that you enjoy. So that's kind of the the hope that I always have. Like, it's finding those Yuzuki families, 4 sons, for that one person that can go, wow, that sounds like that's the show for me. They jump in it and they enjoy it. I cannot, something I enjoy so much, and it was kind of the thing that was heartbreaking about having so many shows in a season that you can't keep up. We can't keep up with.
Yeah.
Is having those moments where somebody chimes in and says, dude, I would have never have heard of this show until you mentioned it, and I checked it out, and it's perfect. Like, do it yourself. I love the feedback that people have for do it yourself, and I was trying to chime in at people, go watch this show, it's so freaking good, and people were like, yeah, dude, I watched it, it was so good. But anyways, that's 2023. I hope you guys, you'll join us for 2024 as we dive into that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're already pretty much set to do our music podcast episode, if I can put it together in time. I don't know. I'm going to be probably super busy this week, but I'll try. We're about to just have a chill week where we just kind of chill and do a discussional and relax and talk about the news. We'll see. But hope you guys enjoyed this Deliberations podcast episode. Hope you guys find shows that you want to watch and you enjoyed it. But until next time, we hope you guys enjoy. Again, we're at otakuspirit.com. That's where you can go for all of our links, social media links, way to get a hold of us, Patreon, tips, links, all that stuff. We greatly appreciate everybody's support. We have a Discord link there, so you can go check out the Discord. But until the next time, y'all take care.
Os.